change. So that's why I would promote the idea of a comprehensive look versus just approving these kind of isolated things that happen. And again, if the board is going to consider approval of this project today, I would refer to Galen. He's drafted a finding that makes a distinction between this place and what's particular to it versus other places throughout the county where this could be perceived as a precedent.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. From my perspective, like you said, you have people that want to come here and do something. You've been working on it for 2 years. The time I feel to notify you of the concerns about spot zoning or other type of things would have been 2 years ago. Not after you have a plan, passed through the planning commission, you've come here to kind of get the final go ahead and begin. I mean, I think that to delay this and try to rewind it to get it all fixed is an unfair penalizing you who's come here to do business. So I would definitely be in favor of after we hopefully get over this hurdle, looking at the other deals, and there's no reason we can't start changing some of those other zonings, so this isn't just out there on an island. The general plan allows for more amendments than we've used in the past, so I think that's a good idea, but I think it should be treated as a separate issue and not hold these gentlemen up for 7 or 8 months. So, is there any more discussion before we take action?
Yeah, the only thing I would like to say, Mr. Chairman, is, as property owners, it's these people's constitutional right to do what they want with their property within law. It's their neighbors, not me up here in, this end of the valley, but it's the neighbors, the people of the community, it's their constitutional rights to do what they want to do with their neighbor's property. And if they were against it, they'd be here today. They've been notified, they are not here, which tells me they are not against it. So I think people of that community have the right within law, which they are, to make this change. I would support it.
Well, it's just a shame that we have to get to this point at this time. I think we need to look at our zoning, really, so we can break stuff down. We have no flexibility, it seems, when we come to a point like this. And I had a talk with Maury about this, and he said that Herlong was the latest zoning changes in our county, and that's a shame. If we run into a brick wall like this over a project that will really benefit the community. It needs to be done, no question. But I mean, to now have staff reluctant because of this isolated satellite town center, boy, it just seems to me like we should have some flexibility to get this thing done.
Well, I think the flexibility is your right to make an amendment to the general plan. And that is your flexibility.
Yeah.
My suggestion last week was, if we want this sort of development in that area, it sounds like we do, then by all means, let's zone it that way, so it doesn't require the extra action by the applicant.
But we could do that without holding these people.
Oh, absolutely. That's just a general comment, but
Yeah.
not specific to this.
We can do that.
But I guess I'm leading into looking at everything that's behind that creek going towards Herlong. I mean, hopefully we can get some development going down there, but every time we run into a stone wall like this, go through 2.5 years of a process for an application, that's not right. We should be able to expedite these things.
And I don't think that the delay has been
Yeah,
on
maybe
the
not.
county's behalf.
Maybe not.
The staff can comment on that, but I think that's been the applicant that's resulted in the delay, not the county.
We've closed the public hearing part. It's just back to the board now. Okay, so Mr. Burns, would you just like to just state the action requested, and we'll see where it goes?
I believe the action requested is set forth in item
Yeah. You just wanna read it.
G4, sorry, D4, apologies. Item number 1 would be to receive Planning Commission Resolution number 9-2-14. Secondly, would be to conduct a public hearing pursuant to Government Code Section 65355 and County Code Section 18.124.050. And it would also be to consider the proposed negative declaration, as well as to adopt a resolution amending the general plan land use designation, and lastly, to introduce and adopt by title only the ordinance implementing the rezone. I'm informed and believe that there were amended ordinance and resolutions submitted in the package that reflect today's date. Is that correct, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, and as well, again, we recommend to insert a finding that Galen has prepared, an additional finding.
If you'd permit, I'd like to ask Mr. Norwood to step forward and tell us what that finding is.
Sure.
Well, this makes some assumptions, on what the intent of the board is. So the way I drafted it, of course it could be modified, is this. This general plan amendment is approved with the understanding that a project will be initiated to comprehensively evaluate general plan designations in the area. Additionally, this project is approved based on the merits of the application and the public record and the needs of the community.
And Mr. Norwood, would you be kind enough to provide a copy of that in some typewritten form for Madam Clerk? So, because there was smoke coming off the tablet when you were reading.
I certainly will.
Thank you.
I'll give you this, but it probably won't do any good.
That's why I asked for it to be typewritten. I'd say.
Hieroglyphics.
And so staff is recommending, if you desire, if the will of the board is to go forward with this project, that finding be made. Is that correct, Mr. Norwood?
That's what we would recommend, yes.
All right.
And that's assuming that you were going to initiate some sort of evaluation of the area, of the needs of the area as far as general plan designation.
Okay, and then number 5, did you do that?
I did cover that.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. So, do we have a motion or do we not?
Well, I'll make the motion to
Adopt the finding.
adopt the findings.
Thank you. And items 1 through 5 is set forth in D4, under action requested.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a second?
I would second that motion.
Discussion before you vote?
Is there any further discussion of the board? before we take the vote? Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
The public has a right to discuss before a vote.
Close the public. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe he did.
Okay. I'm sorry, I was interrupt there. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Want to do a roll call?
Any against? Okay.
Roll call, please.
We need to do a roll call, because this is a public hearing.
Okay.
You're still learning.
Okay, Madam Clerk, would you please call the vote?
Supervisor Alba,
No.
Supervisor Kyle,
All right.
Supervisor Hammond,
Aye.
and Supervisor Wassett.
Aye. Good luck, sir, with your project. Okay, thanks. Okay, let's move on to D5.
Mr. Chairman, the next item is kind of a big deal. Our Child Support Services Department is being recognized by CSAC's Challenge Award. I'm going to turn that over to CSAC.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Chairman Melfick and board members. My name is Farah McDade-Ting. I'm from the California State Association of Counties. We're based down in Sacramento. It was a lovely drive up here today. It couldn't be a better day to come up to Lassen County. Thank you for having me. It's a great honor to be here today to present a Challenge Award to Lassen County. CSAC instituted the Challenge Awards program in the early 1990s to focus on county innovation, counties finding a way to make things work. In the last 15 years or so, our entries have gone up from about 80 to 90 to well over 200. Of those over 200 entries that we get every year now, we choose about 10 to receive a Challenge Award. And according to our notes, this is the first time that Lassen County has received a CSAC Challenge Award, so it's an extra special honor to be here. We expect that Lassen County will receive more in the future as you continue to do your innovative thinking and working around with a rural county, working with state and local partnerships and even federal, as in the case of the program that this Challenge Award focuses on. In Building a Meaningful Relationship is the title of the program, and Kelly Cody and the Department of Child Support Services staff will tell you that this program really is just them doing their job. Really just trying to connect parents with families and resolve child support cases in a way that supports the families. But what the Department of Child Support Services staff did that was innovative is they went to the local federal prison and worked with inmates and federal supervisors to talk to the inmates there about their potential child support cases. And then they worked to resolve those cases for folks who were interested in the prison. What's innovative and what really caught our judge's eye was not only working with populations within your community, but also working with different levels of government. The Lassen County Department of Child Support Services staff work with the federal authorities, obviously, but also those folks located in the prison come from different counties and different states. And the child support staff was able to track down their cases in mostly other California counties and other states. Our judges were very impressed by that. Not only were they able to track down these cases and work with these inmates and help them realize what their responsibilities would be to their children after they were released, but they were also able to close some cases and work out some plans to work out cases so that when those inmates were released to their home county or home state, they would build a stronger family, hopefully. And again, that's what the Department of Child Support Services staff, that's their whole goal. It's really a pleasure to be here today to recognize them for that. The other thing that our judges especially liked about this program was it had a zero budget. Meaning, they'll say they were just doing their job, but our judges were very impressed by the initiative and innovation it took to work with the different levels of authority, different governments, and work with the inmates in the federal prison. So it's my pleasure here today to present the Department of Child Support Services staff with a CSAC 2014 Challenge Award. I would love it if Director Cote and staff could join me. Would that be okay, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you very much.
Just try to group here.
Who's minding the store?
Nobody.
Stand up, go get
Pardon me?
The federal staff.
Oh, okay. Whoever the county is worked with and is.
Come on.
Come to me. And
In front of me.
again, I want to congratulate Lassen County staff and of course working with our federal partners and our rest of our county staff and the Board of Supervisors to present a 2014 Challenge Award to Lassen County Department of Child Support Services. Thank you. I forgot how we do.
Mary, could we get you guys to turn around this way?
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
That's what I was thinking, the entire way up.
Could we get one with Chairman Lassen when the board meeting? Chairman,
Another photo op there. Got it for life.
no, I'd like to get a picture. Oh.
Wait a minute.
One more? Thank you. Sure, get your I would like to add that each of our Challenge Award winners, we feature them for National County Governance Month, which is a National Association of Counties, NACO, sponsored program in March. And what we do for our Challenge Award winners is we'll be sending up a team from CSAC early next year, weather permitting, and we'll do a short video on the program, how the staff worked with folks, and many of the faces we see here today hopefully will be featured in that. So we'll be back in the county in January or February to highlight this special program. Again, thank you, board. We really appreciate being here. Thank you for your innovative work, and congratulations to your staff.
Okay, we'll move on to item H4.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, we have a couple more items, some of which may take a little while. I don't know if you want to entertain breaking.
Yeah, I was gonna get to this and
Oh,
check
okay.
more.
As the board's aware, the county entered into an thought we entered into an agreement with the Fort Sage Unified School District to transfer the theater building to that school district some time ago. It was then discovered that the grant that the county had received to put a new roof on that building required that it retain ownership for about 5 years. So the county negotiated a memorandum of understanding between the county and Fort Sage to lease it to them at no cost, with them providing maintenance, utilities, etc., for that period of 5 years, at which time it would be then transferred. That MOU is attached. The response to that MOU after its negotiation is also attached for Mr. Young, the superintendent, who now, it seems, Fort Sage does not want the building unless the county agrees to address the concerns, all of which are the reasons we attempted to give them the building in the first place. The cost of the utilities, the maintenance, etc. So, the memo from Mr. Young speaks for itself. They have returned the MOU unsigned, and I'm looking for direction from the Board of Supervisors as to how we want to proceed. We may wish to try to dispose of this building through some other mechanism, or winterize it, for lack of a better word, and just store it until things change in the community where it's needed for some other purpose, or potentially use it as a county facility. As you're all aware, we're on a very tenuous lease in the one-stop building. I've asked our staff to explore the usefulness of this building for a one-stop facility, what kind of alterations it might require. But the purpose of today's agenda item is to let you know that what the Fort Sage School District has informed us, and to get some feedback and direction from you all on how to deal with that building.
Mr. Chairman. You know, when I saw this, or actually I had, Mr. Egan had mentioned to me earlier that there was this feedback from the district. And at that point in time, given the situation that we've been dealing with the loss of the ownership of the one-stop center and talking about what our opportunities are, you know, the reality is, you know, we had this building and we were looking at making it, basically giving it to the school district because they had an interest to use it for graduation. And they had assets that they had that weren't being utilized that maybe could have helped us with our other problem. They were interested in talking to us about maybe selling or getting some sort of remuneration rather than, like, say, maybe trading, the fact that we've got resources that aren't being used. And I think, you know, beyond that point, I'm thinking, hey, we got 4 walls, we got a brand new roof on it, you know, whatever sort of modification, there's a huge stage area that could easily accommodate the food pantry that the one-stop center is needing to have. It doesn't have the kind of excess square footage that the chapel building had, which is a problem to heat. But I think before we go along any farther, I think we should look at evaluating this building, how it can be modified to meet the needs of not only the one-stop center, but maybe some of our other programs that maybe have a need, whether the sheriff department could use it for substation location as well. You know, the programs that are being offered through the county social services department, you know, it's ours and it's free and clear. It didn't get mistakenly given away to anybody, thank God. And we can maybe create a presence there that's not going to cost us $500,000 or $1 million or $2 million to recreate. So to me, I would rather see Mr. Egan working with staff to come back and look at how that building could be put to better use, not just once a year when they need it for graduation, but could be put to use for meeting all the various needs that we have there. And maybe we could take advantage of the $50,000+ that we spend of those grant funds when we put a new roof on it. I think it's an excellent idea.
Yeah. To be honest, I thought it already had been claimed over. I was surprised to see this.
Because of the grant situation with the roof, it wasn't.
I know a lot of their hesitancy was that lot next door they're afraid of the liability of that lot next door, because I called them about this after I received this. And they were hoping that, I guess they'd been in contact with us to clean up that lot.
I'm not sure which lot you're.
Right behind the deli, there's a lot there, and it's in disrepair.
I wish, Pete, you know the ownership of that?
It's all one parcel.
It's all.
Oh, it's part of the
It
Peterson
goes-
Yeah.
It goes from
Yeah.
there to the road.
Oh, it's part of the property we were going to transfer to the
Yeah.
school district. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a different lot. It's
Well, no.
If we're gonna,
Okay, okay.
yeah, if we're gonna use it, we want to clean it up to
Oh,
make it
man, it's
safe for
bad.
our use.
It's bad.
And you know, we're giving them something, but if they want us to incur all these extra, I mean, if they want to use it, I think the understanding was that they would take care of whatever needed to be to clean up and make that a safe environment for the utilization. And when they come back with these terms and conditions where they want us to cover,
Yeah, that's not.
I mean, it's obvious that they've talked themselves out of getting something. I mean, it's an asset that it was one of the few properties down there that had some potential value.
I haven't been in there for a long time, Pete. What's the condition of the interior?
We toured it.
It's probably the same as last time you were in it.
When we toured it, it didn't have the new roof and there was debris falling from it, but that was cleaned up when they put the new roof on, so.
Yeah.
This is kind of the
They actually
ultimate look
cleaned
at
it
the
up,
gift horse in the mouth.
they actually cleaned it up and used it for graduation the last couple of years.
Now, is the heating system intact there?
It's there, it's an older system, probably, probably would need some work. I mean, when they use it intermittently, it's probably fine, but long term, we definitely
And
have
all
to
the
look at
plumbing's
that.
in place?
Pardon?
All the plumbing's in
Yes,
place?
yes.
It's been fixed.
Well, it's a boiler system, which is hydronic, which then feeds hot water to the heating units that are throughout the ceiling area. And that boiler unit is problematic, is my understanding. I've never had anybody work on it, that was prior.
They've had a lot of
Downstairs.
trouble with it in the past, I know that.
There has been an issue raised with what we believe is a water meter issue with HPUD, where some believe there's a leak under the building, we believe there's a water meter issue. And we Pete's been out there, hasn't found any evidence of any sort of leak. But HPUD hasn't ceded that it's their issue with the meter.
Yeah, it's basically my observation of it. I've actually been out there with the director for HPUD. He's somewhat conceded that it's an issue, but he's putting it back on the manufacturer. He wants to send the meter off. Was my last conversation with him to verify that. But it's reading an actual gallons usage, and then when it's a digital meter that uploads wirelessly. And I think when it goes into their system, they add a rate factor on there. So when it says it's used 5 gallons, it's reading like 50,000 gallons, I believe is the error on there. When I got some of the reports, I didn't think the size pipe could actually flow that volume of water. So that's where I first suspected that it's more a meter issue. And there doesn't appear to be any water seepage around it. So.
The only use that building supposedly has had for the last several years is when they have graduation once a year. So I would think that when it's not being utilized, that the building would basically be mothballed. So there shouldn't be any active meters generating 5 gallons or 50,000 gallons of consumption.
It's been shut off for, gosh, a while since we've had kind of a difference of opinion. So there hasn't been any, and if they turn it on, yeah.
Mr. Young indicated to me that indeed they're only using it one time a year.
Yeah.
And it doesn't justify that expense to use it one time a year. In the same conversation, he also indicated that their building that we often refer to as the Head Start building would be available to the county. He doesn't see much hope of Head Start coming back, and they're at risk of having to return that building as well. So. Yeah, I understand that his view is different from some of the board members.
Yes, it is.
Well, and obviously they weren't interested in trading that building for this building, and so my attitude would be is let's focus on our needs and not worry about what everybody else is.
Well, oh no, I get the feeling they don't want either one of the buildings.
Yeah, and it could be that's maybe what the superintendent wants, what the board wants. Obviously, they'd like to have it all and have us pay the bill, and they enjoy the benefits, so. In the meantime, we have a program that's out there, it's vulnerable, at risk, and if this is a facility that could be adapted, could be utilized in a more efficient fashion than what we presently have, I think it should be explored. So instead of us talking about building new buildings or bringing in modulars or whatever, let's use the building we have and use it more than just once a year.
Okay, well, if that's the direction of the board, that's where we're already headed.
I think that's where we should go.
So you're looking into what it's gonna cost to
Pete,
bring that up to code?
well, Pete and Miller are going to explore if it's even plausible, feasible, and then what the cost would be.
Okay.
We can report back to them.
How many square footage is in that building? It's not as big as the chapel building.
No,
It's 8,000
not as
square
close.
feet, but there's what, 2,000-3,000 square feet there maybe?
Oh, there's more than that. It's good size. It's set up as a theater. You have the front entrance there where the bathrooms are on the right side, which you come in, and the left side has a small office and a snack bar area. And then you go into the theater that's got the sloped floor down and the stage area. So for the most recent remodel was on the front end with the bathroom, snack bar stuff, and then everything else past that is older, going back eventually to the 40s when you get to the back stage area. So it's had multiple remodels and.
Well, if you can figure out a convenient way to deal with the flooring in terms of creating additional workspace and use the stage area for storage and food and that kind of thing, I think you have some real potential for converting that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
Jen is here, and maybe she can, I just want to make sure this is consistent with the balloon on the roof, that we start doing different things, and maybe you can speak to that.
That might help.
Well, there are CDBG regulations obviously tied to the building, and I assume the direction is to staff is to look at the viable options, and at that point we'll be consulting with CDBG on what is going to be eligible and what won't be.
Make sure she's in the loop.
Okay. Is there any public comment on this item? Okay, so I think we have direction. There's a couple more items we could soldier on until probably 1 o'clock or take a break.
I think we should take a break for a while.
Okay. Is
Back to 1:30.
1:30, you're good.
That's our agenda.
Very good. So we'll recess. Baker Mark?
1:30. Yes.